What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I wanted to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla, SPY, and the overall market. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000 more, you're guaranteed 30 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY in uninvested cash. So offer ends in the end of March, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's talk about what's happening with the market so far. So I just wanted to say, guys, that on this channel, I'm noticing that my views are slowing down quite a bit as I continue to talk about NIO. And it's making me think and wonder if I should continue to prioritize NIO. I'm a long-term NIO holder, and I do believe that this stock will run very, very nicely for the long term. But talking about it every single day is not something I always have to do because of the fact that a lot of the news is very redundant. And I do want to talk a lot more about Tesla as well. So I'm thinking about talking a lot about Tesla and prioritizing that, and then sometimes still talking about NIO for those who are still interested. And if you guys are interested in that idea, if you guys think that would be better for me, please let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. This is not a guarantee. There's no guarantee I will be doing this. The only reason I say this is because I am noticing that I'm getting less engagement on this channel if I continue to talk about NIO. And if I do switch things up a bit, maybe things could change. But I just want to let you, I want you guys to tell me what you think, and then I will make a decision based off that. So just let me know in the comments what you guys think about that decision, where I primarily talk more about Tesla, and I tend to talk a little bit less about NIO. I do talk about NIO like once in a while if I do make a transition like that. So if you guys are okay with that, just let me know. I do hope that I could get more views and I could help a lot more people. So we'll see. Anyways, for now, we're just going to talk about what's happening so far. NIO is currently down about it's at $4.16 a share. So we did get a small rebound here. I was talking about this yesterday, but now we're testing this resistance at the 20 EMA. We'll have to see if we break this off this double bottom to start pushing higher for this 4.3 area. So I think we're doing okay right now. I am a little concerned about the broader market still because we hit some tough resistance and we were not able to break it immediately. So I'll talk more about the levels and such a little bit later. Just know that as far as the news is going, I just want to say that we have our ET5, which is very, very popular so far. This is getting a lot of views and a lot of nuances. Besides that, I didn't really see anything else that was too crazy on the news involving NIO, which is part of the reason why it's becoming very redundant and there's not really anything too crazy coming out. So if I do a transition, I could talk more about Tesla news and then maybe sometimes talk about NIO if something big comes out. So we'll see. But for now, just know that Goldman Sachs maintains the same sell rating. The price price ratio has been dipping a little bit. We're looking at this low at from right down here. And then we tend to see more volatility at 10 a.m. Also around 1 p.m. and then during the second to last hour of the day, we tend to see more volatility. And besides that, there's nothing else that's too crazy that's coming out. Now, as far as the market goes, we had a mixed market. Some big tech stocks sold off. Apple had a big sell-off, down 4%. Nvidia was down 2%. Google was down, so was Meta, very flat. Amazon pumped and then rejected, and then Tesla did the same thing and pumped and came back down. Overall, the market saw big tech sell off, whereas the rest of the tickers were quite flat. And we saw the indices sell off as well. Now, going into tomorrow is going to be Friday, January 17th. There's not really much coming out so far. In the morning before market open, we have the manufacturing numbers coming out, some very important industrial and manufacturing production numbers. So we'll see what this leads to, at least moving forward. So I'll give this some time to develop. Besides that, we have TSMC, United Health Group, Bank of America, and Morgan Stanley all announcing their earnings. Just know that with these earnings, Morgan Stanley did relatively well as we saw their profits jump quite a bit with strong deal making and such. Profits are up 145% to about $3.71 billion, amounting for $2.22 a share. Also not bad in revenue. That's up to about $16.22 billion. Good news overall and stronger than expected earnings by Morgan Stanley, which is why the share price is up. Bank of America saw its profit more than double. This is the second largest U.S. lender by assets, and they made about $6.7 billion in profit in the fourth quarter. They also saw their fourth quarter at about $25.3 billion, topping the $25.1 billion the analysts had expected. Good news overall, nice growth in terms of their net income and such. So good job from them overall, and we'll hear more about what they expect for 2025 later. But good job by Bank of America. TSMC also jumped. They were talking about how there's lots of signs that the chip demand is still very hot. And we saw some nice growth overall in their profitability by 57%. Besides that, I would say their guidance, they didn't really say too much about their guidance. They did say that their business could be impacted by the smartphone seasonality. But overall, demand remains very, very strong, and they still kept their overall expectations about the same. So good news overall, and that's why the share price is in the green. So that being said, what do I see for others out there? The market is still at fear, making up the majority of sentiment. Extreme fear is still there, not to mention the put to call option ratio is still showing fear as there's still more shorts piling in. And the market's neutral. The VIX is in the middle right now, so we'll see what this leads to. I also want to mention that as far as SPY is going, let me just close this real quick. Sorry about that. For SPY, we basically have about 1.5 plus million of these calls expiring, and we have over 3.2 million puts expiring. So that's a 580 max pain, a lot of option expirations tomorrow, and a 2.23 puts to call ratios. So we'll see what this leads to. The market did get a big rejection despite the fact that we were at those supports. For news about Tesla, Tesla has introduced new inventory discounts for the first time in the US for the brand new Cybertrucks, unfortunately. This news just came out, so I just want to make that very clear. They're offering about $1,600 for some of their Cybertrucks for the discounts, and also we're looking at about $2,600 off for them as well, depending on if they're used or not. So some discounts are coming out, leading to some criticism. Analysts are saying that people would prefer a smaller truck, which I don't entirely agree with. It's very early into the year to make that call. And besides that, I didn't see anything else that was too crazy. So as far as the markets go, we have a double bottom forming on NIO. We'll have to see if we break 4.17. If that's the case, we're looking for essentially 4.2 as our target. For others out there, we have Tesla, which is in this range. So we'll have to see if we could try to hold 409 or so. It might be dipping here before it consolidates in this range. We'll see if we get some kind of bounce or not. This is still a very nice accumulation, but it might dip a little bit more to 409 or so before it tries to bounce. So I do think Tesla will bounce soon, but it might see a little bit more downside to the like 408 or below before we see some buyers step in. And by the way, for NIO, we're looking more promising. If we break 4.17, we're looking for a push to 4.3. May pull back a bit here before it tries to push higher. So I see potential in this, at least nonetheless. For others out there, we have SPY. So there is one problem with SPY. We're rejecting off resistance over and over again. This tends to favor a move back down to about 589. If that fails us, we could be looking for that gap fill for 584. And once we touch 584, if we can make a higher low here, there could be a bounce still coming. But just know there might be a little bit of a pullback first before we see some kind of bounce as the most likely case. For the QQQ, we're also going to be dipping back down towards this 510 area to fill this gap. Maybe a little bit below that to 507. And then we'll see if we get a bounce near 510 or not. If we get a bounce, we could attempt a breakout afterwards. And if we don't, we could be dumping. I'll be watching for that very closely. The Russell 2000 is on a bit of a downtrend. We might be dipping back down to about 222 or below before it tries to bounce. Look for some downside as a stronger possibility. For futures like ES, you rejected here, so it might be dipping to 59.45, so it might be a small dip tomorrow. If not, it's about 5,900 flat before we see some buyers defend. For NQ, we got a rejection. We need to try to get back above 21,260. Otherwise, we favor a move back down to 21,000 flats. And we'll see what kind of reaction we get. For Bitcoin, we hit this resistance right here. If we can't hold above 100,000, we could be dipping closer to 97,000 flats. So give that some time to develop. As far as Nvda goes, there's a bit of a downtrend right over here. So we're looking for the support at 132. If that fails us, we could be dipping to about 127. So please give this some time. Also, Aapl is looking a little bit more bearish. We're barely at 228. We got a hold right here. Might see a pop here before it continues to dip, but 225 becomes a possibility. Still, it's showing some weakness. For others out there, we have Coin. Coin is trying to push right here, but we're at resistance right here at this 280 area. We'll have to see if we could break that or not. If we can't, we're looking for a move back down to about 175. For Amazon, we're on a bit of a downtrend. We need to try to get back above 221. Otherwise, we favor 218 before it tries to bounce. Might see some downside. Meta has the same setup. It might be dipping to about 607 or below. If that fails us, we could be dipping close to 600 before it tries to see some kind of bounce. Microsoft is rejecting. We need to try to hold above 422. Might shop here, but if 422 does not hold, we could be dipping a little bit closer to like 418 before we see some kind of bounce. And Google has the same setup. We're looking for 193.6. We're barely holding support right now. If that fails us, we could be dipping all the way down towards this gap, towards like 191 to 190, and we'll see if we bounce off that or not. So watch those levels very closely. The VIX is holding support right here. This was the gap support where the VIX is at. So if it continues to push and gets back above 17, we're looking for 17.5 or above as our targets. If the VIX is getting a small bounce, this could be a sign that the market's going to pull back just a little bit. The 10-year still remains down, but you guys can see on the 4 hour it's trying to bounce here at the 50 EMA. So we'll see how things end up going. The market got a nice push, but we'll have to see if this lasts or not. So that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening. As far as NIO goes, if the market does get some kind of pullback, this could drag us down to about 4.15. We'll see if we break out from here. If we do break 4.17, we're looking for 4.3 as our target. My gut tells me we might be dipping a little bit before it tries to bounce. And I see something very similar happening to Tesla. With that being said, guys, I am a little bit saddened by the fact that a lot of viewers are losing interest in this channel because obviously NIO's, it's been dumping quite a bit. It's not really doing much. I believe NIO is going to be very bullish for many years to come. I still hold that view. So I am considering possibly, making this channel more about Tesla, just talking about Tesla news primarily. I'm thinking of possibly doing that, and then sometimes talking about stocks like NIO and others like that, just to add more flair to this channel. There's not a whole lot of news that comes out for NIO every day. That's why it's like, it's not, there's not a whole lot for me to talk about it for it every single day. But I do believe for the longer term, for many years to come, this company is going to do a lot better, and we're going to be looking for profitability and their margins to improve. So I will continue to make videos about NIO, but I may make them less frequently about NIO and more often about Tesla, if you guys can understand that. Why do I say that? It's not because of the fact that I'm, running away from the stock. I'm still a big bull in it. I believe NIO is going to fill many, many gaps and it has so much upside. But I do feel saddened by the fact that the views on this channel are just really slowing down and people are losing interest in NIO. So it might be more entertaining for people if I just talk more about Tesla news, and primarily, I think there's a bigger audience for that and there's more interest. And then I could still sometimes talk about NIO when there's big updates such as earnings, such as deliveries and factors just like that, just to hold your guys' views together. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. I don't say this because I'm trying to hate on you or anything like that. I'm just saying this because of the views and because of the interest that is slowing down on this channel. I'm being 100% transparent and honest with everyone, so please let me know your thoughts. And with that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. Have a good rest of your day, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with another update. I might be just talking about Tesla or NIO. We'll see. But just let me know what you guys think, and I'll do my best to continue to provide you guys with free content. I thank you for listening. Have a good day, and peace out.